Welcome, welcome. Today I want to talk about the labeling of good, bad, and the interim. And what does that mean for you? So often in life, we choose to label things as good or bad, and we base our happiness, our self-worth, everything on whether or not something is good or bad. So I'm doing good in life, I'm making the right choices, or I'm doing bad, I'm making the wrong choices. And we base our self-worth on this fact that we have decided something is good or bad. So I'll start with a story, and that will reiterate my conversation with you today. Okay, so it's called Good, Bad, Who Knows? It is a Chinese story, an old Chinese story. One day, a horse escaped into the hills when a farmer's neighbors sympathized with an old man over his bad luck. The farmer replied, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" A week later, the horse returned with a herd of wild horses from the hills, and the neighbors congratulated the farmer on his luck. He replied, "Good, bad, who knows?" Then, when the farmer's son was attempting to tame one of the wild horses, he fell off the back and broke his leg. Everyone again sympathized with the farmer over his bad luck. But the farmer's reaction was, as always, bad luck, good luck, who knows? Some weeks later, the army marched into the village and drafted every able-bodied youth they found, and when they saw the farmer's son with a broken leg, they let him stay. Good luck, bad luck, who knows? And so it is with every single decision and every single label that we label things in life. We decide whether or not they're good or bad, and we base everything around that. But in all actuality, you don't really know whether or not something is good or bad. Just like in this story, he would have lost his son to the war, but instead, all he had was a broken leg. This shows up in my life in the form of cancer. I found out I had cancer and everybody sympathized with me. "I'm so sorry that you have cancer." Over and over again is what I heard. And for me, in my experience, I am now aligned with my purpose. I am podcasting, YouTubing, making websites, making all kinds of different plans for my future and my life. I'm showing up every day online. This is a feat that I would not have been able to get to had it not been for this transition. So again, I ask you, good, bad, who knows? In every situation in life. And another way that we might be able to label it when you're maybe looking for guidance. So you're wondering if something is good or bad in your life right now, okay? Well, I know you are because you're human. So you're wondering about something. You're trying to make a decision. And you're trying to make the right decision, the good decision, as opposed to the bad decision. And I wonder, and I would invite you to, instead of asking that question, depending on the person that you are, to instead ask yourself, does this make me feel expansive? Or does this make me feel contracted? And what I mean by that is, when you think of the thing that you're trying to make a decision on, do you feel your body relax? Do you feel your shoulders back? Do you feel a release? Maybe a slight smile, a brightening of the eyes? Or do you instead feel as if there's a tightness in the center of your chest that pulls your shoulders in and rounds your back. That would be the difference between expanded and contracted. And the best way to get to the bottom of that emotion is to get quiet. And I don't mean you need to get quiet for long. Just a period of time, uninterrupted, where you consider your two decisions and notice your body. Notice where you feel it and what it's doing. And I'm curious if you have that expanded or contracted, if you then further that by labeling it again as, oh, I'm expanded, so it's good. I'm contracted, so it's bad. It's not the case. All I'm asking you to do is to tap into your intuition, to start to feel a little bit of expansion, so you make your decision based on that, a little bit of expansion. Now, something quote unquote bad could happen as a result of you following your expansion. But I invite you again to ask yourself, good, bad, who knows when that bad thing happens? Or that good thing happens, for that matter, when you label the thing. Because you don't know whether or not that is guiding you to a bad place or a good place. And further that, I invite you to consider that there is no bad place, there is no good place. There is only getting stuck in the labeling of those things. If you think about anything that you've ever gone through in your entire life, you have been able to look back. And I mean, I guess there's 2% that can't look back, but the rest of the time, you've been able to look back at that situation stronger, with more growth, with your head held a little higher. Yeah, maybe you're battered and bruised, but generally speaking, you're stronger. So 2 things have happened. 1, you're stronger, and 2nd, you're still here. And I just have a strong belief that these labels are the true hell. They're the only way that we get stuck. Any decision that you want to make, you ask yourself over and over again, I know I do, is this the right decision? Am I making the right choice? Will I make the wrong choice and have this be very difficult? Well, perhaps. But the answer truly is that it will work out. And I mean that. It will work out. It will work out in the way that it's meant to work out. Now, I'm not talking about sitting on the couch and doing absolutely nothing, although there's a time and place for that also. But instead, to allow the unfolding of life and to follow it rather than resist it. Abraham Hicks talks about letting go on the river as opposed to paddling against it. Just letting yourself float. And nixing the urge to label it good or bad, which is the part where you get stuck. But really, let's think about the metaphor of Abraham Hicks. If the river has rocks and trees and bits and, waterfalls and all of these sorts of things, again, you get a little battered and bruised sometimes, but you still come out the other side, generally speaking. Now, of course, I don't mean be reckless with every single decision, because then you could land up hitting a rock. But instead to have faith. To have faith that the universe is for you as opposed to against you. That every single thing that happens in your life is for you as opposed to against you. And say that again. What if everything in life was for you as opposed to against you? What could that open up for you? How could you move through life differently. Wouldn't that be amazing if every single choice you made was just whether or not it felt expanded or contracted? How you could live more openly, more wholeheartedly, more free? If you didn't have the constant fear and worry that maybe you'll make the wrong decision and end up in some place, what could it be like for you? What would you do? Would you follow that dream career? Would you follow that dream love affair, that soulmate, that job, having that baby, whatever it is that you're fearful of? If one decision after the other could mean that it has nothing to do with the destination, it only has to do with the path, then how beautiful could your life be? And I think that the reason that we get stuck in the path, or, in really rocky places, or really full of trees and waterfalls and all of these bumpy roads, I think that these bumpy roads sometimes come to serve us, but other times they're truly only bumpy because we make it so. Because we label it. I think it is in the letting go and the presence that the river becomes smooth, and that you can float along with ease and joy. And yeah, there's going to be a few things, because everything must break down before it changes. There's going to be a few things that aren't comfortable. And in that expansive or contracted paradigm, I'm not saying, do you feel like exercising? Do you feel expanded or contracted? Because for some, they will feel expanded because they love exercising. Whereas others, they will feel contracted because they don't love exercising, or they have pain in their joints, or whatever else. And what I'm asking you to instead think of is, does this act lead me to something expansive or contracting? I'm not talking about the task. Does it make me feel expansive to do the laundry? Absolutely not. Does it make me feel expansive to get up early and work out? No. But what does make me feel expansive is having a clean house. What does make me feel expansive is having a strong body. So you question the result. Question the not 10 steps ahead, but a couple steps ahead. How will that feel? Will that feel expansive or contracted? When I make a decision in my business, I ask myself, does this change make me feel expanded or contracted? As opposed to, does this act? Because the act itself of sticking my neck out there and showing up vulnerably is not comfortable, and it is very contractive. But when I think about what it feels like to be open and real and have other people see it and feel comfortable to be able to be open and real also, well, that makes me feel expansive. So I invite you today or any day to start to picture these different ideals, as opposed to the good and bad, and start to picture what expansive and contracted is. And I mean, to further that point, I am a feeling being. So for me, it's easy to feel the expansion or the contracted. That may not work for you. There may be another thing, maybe visualizing, and maybe the clarity of the picture or the fogginess of the picture. That's what works for you. Or maybe voicing it in the way that it feels in your body when you speak it. It doesn't really matter what it is that you're doing, but are you are you more factual? Are you more feeling? What are you? Choose the kind of person that you are, and then base your decision-making process on that. What process feels good for you? For me, it's always feeling. For some people, it's visualizing. Depends on the person. But if you begin to start to make decisions this way, as opposed to from a labeling perspective, I do think that you will find that life opens up for you, just like it opened up for me. I chose and I was convicted when I said that it was going to be okay with cancer. And the reason that I chose that is because I had been taught this. I had learnt this. And I knew that getting stuck in this mentality of whether something was good or bad was going to do nothing for me. Here I am on the other side. As of yesterday, completely finished chemo. Healthy as it stands. And so grateful to be alive. And of course, it feels as if the cancer were to come back, that it would be bad. But what I say is this: good, bad. Who knows? So ask yourself that question today. I hope that you're having a fabulous day. And if you gained something from this episode today, then feel free to take a screenshot with your phone. Tag me and yourself and pop on there kind of your biggest takeaway. I'll share it to my story. And once a month, I do a draw for a piece of authentic Live Free Wellness jewelry. So you can be entered into that draw and it'll help spread the word. Take care, you guys. All the best, and go out there and live free.